Chapter 2. Monday, 5:17 p.m. Nate was still in the house. He had to be. That was Jenna's first thought, a fragile thread of certainty in the chaos swirling around her. She glided through the dimly lit room like a wraith, every step cautious and charged with tension, as if uttering his name aloud might shatter the delicate illusion that he was still there. His car occupied its usual spot in the driveway, angled just shy of the hedge, its presence both familiar and unsettling. He always parked it that way on purpose, a small quirk that had once irked her but now wrapped her in an unexpected warmth. He claimed it kept the birds from nesting too close. His earnestness about such things had been part of his charm. Nate wasn't someone who simply disappeared without a trace. In the kitchen, she stood with her arms tightly crossed over her chest, fixated on the closed doors as if they held secrets she desperately needed to uncover. One foot tapped against the cool tile floor in an anxious rhythm that grated on her nerves, each beat reverberating louder than before. Her heart raced, thudding so hard she could almost taste it rising in her throat above everything else. The phone felt heavy in her hand, its screen aglow with unanswered texts that mocked her hopes for resolution. The messages lingered stubbornly, refusing to fade away like wisps of smoke. They remained there, waiting for answers she feared would never come. "You saw her, didn't you? Don't talk to anyone. Not yet. Good." She needed to reach out to someone. The police. But what could she possibly tell them? That a message had come through from an unknown number, laced with an odd accusation. It didn't feel like a direct threat, but the unease gnawed at her. Perhaps it was just her imagination spiraling again, filling in the gaps with shadows of fear. Nate would have called it her disaster brain, that relentless urge to predict calamity, as if preparing for the worst could somehow dull its sting. But this didn't feel imagined. She inhaled deeply, then again. The kitchen air was sharp and metallic, as if it clung to her taste buds with a bitter tang of anxiety. She knocked on the bedroom door before opening it, which was absurd, because why would she knock in her own house? Habit, maybe. Or guilt. She pushed the door open slowly. Nate was sitting on the edge of the bed, elbows on knees, staring at the floor. His back was rigid, like he'd heard her come in, but didn't want to meet her yet. Or couldn't. She stepped inside. "Quiet. You didn't answer me," she said. He didn't look up. "I know. Something's wrong." He exhaled hard through his nose, like he was holding in something heavy and just trying to breathe around it. "Nate." He finally looked up. His face was pale, and something about his eyes, too wide, too still, made her stomach twist. "I need to ask you something," he said. She nodded, already bracing. "That girl, Lee. You taught her, right?" The question came out soft, but it felt like a blade. Jenna nodded again, slower this time. "Yes, last semester." "Why?" Nate rubbed his hands together, then wiped them down his jeans like something was stuck to them. He was sweating. That wasn't like him. "She came by here," he said. Jenna blinked. "What? When?" He shook his head. "Saturday." "Like, I didn't know what to do." "No, wait. Nate, what are you talking about?" "Ellie's been missing for 2 days." "I know." There was a pause. Long, uncomfortable. The kind that usually means someone is choosing whether to lie or not. "I didn't call anyone," he said finally. She was scared. I thought maybe she was running from something. I gave her water. Let her sit on the porch. I told her she should go home. Jenna felt like the floor wasn't under her anymore. "You didn't let her in." He didn't answer. And that was answer enough. She sat down slowly on the edge of the bed, leaving too much space between them. "What did she say?" Nate shook his head again, but this time it was sharper. Defensive. "Not much." She was shaking. She kept saying she couldn't go home, that someone was going to hurt her if she did. He stopped, swallowed hard. "I didn't know what to do." Jenna stared at her hands. They weren't shaking, but it felt like they should be. You should have told someone. I know. No, you don't. She looked up at him. Because now she's gone. And someone knows you saw her. He looked stunned for a second. Like he hadn't let that thought fully land until now. How? Jenna held out her phone. He read the messages. Didn't say anything. We need to go to the police, she said. Nate stood. No. If we tell them she was here, they'll think I had something to do with it. Jenna, I didn't do anything wrong, but you know how that looks. That's not the point. That's exactly the point, he snapped, then winced. Softer now. They'll turn this into something it's not. And if someone did hurt her? If they're watching us now? He didn't finish. Didn't have to. The silence stretched, sharp around the edges. Outside, the rain had started to fall harder. Then what do you suggest? Jenna asked finally, not hiding the frustration in her voice. We wait, he said. One night. Just one. If she doesn't show up, if there's still no word, I'll go in. We both will. Jenna wanted to argue with him. She really did. She wanted to push back and demand that they leave right now and go straight to the police station. She wanted to tell him that waiting was a mistake. But Nate's words drilled into her, spreading little seeds of doubt. Each one took root and grew tangled inside, until she wasn't sure of anything anymore. Her head was spinning, and her heart was torn between anger and confusion. Was it really that reckless to wait for one night? Would it ruin them if they did? Worse yet, would it ruin Ellie? She rubbed her temples and tried to think, but every time she reached for an answer, more questions tumbled through her mind in an avalanche of uncertainty. Jenna needed to believe that something, anything, would make this right. But her judgment felt like it was slipping, dissolving under the weight of too many consequences. Something inside told her that the obvious answer wasn't always the smart one. Calling the police felt like the obvious answer, the only answer. But what if it made things worse? What if they didn't believe them? What if the texts kept coming? What if Ellie was? Well, she didn't finish that thought. She couldn't.